Hi everyone, I'm Żaneta. Welcome to the next video about our holidays in Poland. The sun greeted us again, which is quite rare as 99% of the time the weather here is gloomy. There is something special at my aunt's place, a bunker in their yard that is used as storage. Of course, once again, my uncle went out with my husband and son to watch the pigeons. That has been his hobby for many years. When I was a child, I used to follow him around the pigeon houses and even to other villages to release the birds for practice before their flying competitions. Nowadays, the pigeons are just stay-at-home birds. Since they have grandchildren, there are plenty of toys, swings and other things to play with, so our son is very happy here. He even said he would prefer to stay in Poland. I think if he were here, he might not study at all, but would always be playing instead. This time, my uncle had another idea. He took out a gun he uses to scare off wild birds, like hawks, that try to eat his pigeons. They even had a small shooting competition. Another day brought another family to meet. We went to a nearby city. Parking is free for 2 hours, but you still need to take a ticket and place it in the window. We walked around the city of Włocławek for a while, but the weather was freezing. During our first week in Poland, we rarely went out because of the cold. My hands were super red and painful from the chilly wind. We visited my grand-aunt and uncle, who are in their 80s. Their house is quite traditional, but very tidy. After spending some time there, we went shopping together. They thought our son needed a gift, but didn't want to choose something he might not like. Later, they invited us to a late lunch at a restaurant with their daughter, who works as a judge in a nearby court. Like in Taiwan, people in Poland also work overtime, and she arrived an hour later to the meeting. Maybe I shouldn't compare the two countries, but Taiwan definitely stands out with its overtime working culture, which rarely happens in Poland. The food at the restaurant was nice, though I found it a bit too salty for my taste. We ordered beef tartare, guinea fowl broth, duck breast, schnitzels, and for dessert, coffee, cheesecake, and a trio of small desserts. I'm getting more comfortable driving in Poland. I haven't driven much in the past 2 years because I find it hard to adjust to the traffic in Taiwan. We also visited a cemetery. In Poland, it's quite normal to visit cemeteries several times a year, anytime you feel like it. Polish cemeteries are always well maintained, with flowers and candles on the graves. This was the first time I visited my aunt's grave since she passed away just before we left Poland the last time. Afterward, we went to see a nearby church and lake. The cemetery overlooks the lake, making it a beautiful and peaceful place. We couldn't stay outside for long, as the temperature was around 0 degrees Celsius, but the first lake temperature was often below freezing. As the days pass, more family members invite us to visit, though they are usually only free on weekends. We are hoping to explore other places like the salt mines, one of the world's largest churches, or some castles. However, the icy roads and dark short days makes us a bit lazy. Sunrise at 8 a.m. and sunset is before 4 p.m., giving us only about 8 hours of daylight. Adding to that, people here are used to sitting in the dark, even when it gets dark outside. They don't turn on many lights indoors. It's quite a different atmosphere. After picking up my father, we also visited another uncle and cousins who live just a few hundred meters away. Like most people in my family, they also have dogs. On Sunday, we visited another aunt. Their house is quite small by Polish standards, but since my cousins have moved out to live their own families, only 2 people stay there, so it's more than enough space. Everyone in my family loves to cook, so we were greeted with homemade food, cake, and fruit alcohol. They also had some games, since their grandchildren visit often. We went outside to see my aunt's hens, and our son even got to pick some eggs. After a walk, the weather quickly turned dark and foggy, so we headed back home. We rarely stay outside after 4 p.m. in the winter because it gets dark so early in Poland. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out my other content and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye!